This is Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show.
Hello and welcome to the Josh and Jay Show featuring Rowan, Kaiser, episode 98. I am your co-host Joshua. I am joined, as always,
by your co-host Jay.
Good day to you, human.
And we are joined, as always, by
Rowan.
Good day to you, human.
Rowan the Elcor.
Kaiser.
Rowan's rant.
They call him the Feech.
Subdued enthusiasm. Yes, you call
Shitty
me
shit
the
shit.
Feech.
Are you excited? Rowan,
I said subdued enthusiasm.
Genuine enthusiasm.
is it still fun to play video games after everybody else gets to play them too? Is it more fun to play? Is it more fun to play Dragon Age when we can't play it?
Yeah.
No.
Do you like having the Dragon Age all to yourself?
I like being able to tell everyone what to do,
Giving
Sounds
advice.
about right.
but it is a little annoying to like not be able to talk to people about it.
I am following your Dragon Age advice.
Everyone should follow my Dragon Age advice.
Why don't you give your Dragon Age advice, and then we'll use that as a segue into basically what this whole episode's going to be about.
Y'all just tuning in. Y'all motherfuckers need to know that we like Dragon Age.
Y'all
a lot.
motherfuckers need to recognize.
And a new Dragon Age came out, and all these motherfuckers are playing some motherfucking Dragon Age up in here.
Really?
So
I see.
that's what we're talking about. Dragon Age Inquisition.
Huh.
I thought we were talking Dragon Age 2.
Really?
We certainly can.
That's what I've been playing.
We have like 4 episodes dedicated to it already.
It's true. Can go back in the vault, and they're all there.
I just finished Dragon Age Origins for the first time
You did the lands meet.
on mouse and keyboard,
You met some lands.
and I checked out the mouse and keyboard for Dragon Age Inquisition, and it's terrible. You right? It's awful.
Wow.
There is no reason to play with mouse and keyboard unless that's just like what you happen to grab.
It
like,
is lame because I was like, I'm sick of fiddling around with my inventory with this controller. That's why I have a PC. I'll just switch over to mouse and keyboard and do all my inventory shit real quick. It's the same, but with a mouse.
the consolification of Dragon Age.
And I think a lot of critics,
This is why I'm a critic.
when they were doing their previews, BioWare kept talking about the tactical cams back for it's going to stay with consoles too and not just PC. Tactical cam is I was confused. Everyone was confused what that meant. That's a whole new dumb thing. What we wanted was to be able to zoom out on consoles like you can on PC.
Right.
And instead, not only can you not zoom out on consoles like you can on PC, you can't zoom out on PC.
Right, the tactical
Yeah.
cam.
That's a whole different
tactical
thing.
cam like goes above your head.
Yeah, a little bit, sort of.
Yeah, it's like six.
Like if I
six
grabbed one of these
inches
cameras
above.
and held it above our heads,
It's on Iron Bull's.
Yeah, it feels like there's someone like some PA from a reality show who's like piggybacking on one of your characters with like a camcorder.
You know what
in
it
his
feels
hand.
exactly like? The Viva Pinata camera.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Welcome back to Josh and Jay's Viva Pinata show.
Yeah, forget Dragon Age.
Yeah,
And another terrible thing about the mouse and keyboard, like you know how in Dragon Age Origins you see some elf root off in the distance, you right click on it, you go and get the elf
Yes.
root. In Dragon Age Inquisition, you have to be standing on top of it in order to click on it.
And not only with the stuff in the distance like elf fruit, but also enemies. You can't just click on an enemy and go attack him. You have to move that distance.
And
via
you have
the
to hold down
WSD.
the attack button.
unless you do the tactical view and then click on an enemy, then it will go
Right, one at a time.
Right, one at a time.
So that's terrible. At one point, I switched to tactical view with the controller, and was like, I'll use it as a mouse and keyboard, and just go click where I want to go. But you can't use the tactical view.
Yeah, it doesn't quite
doesn't
work
really
like that.
work the way you want it to. Another awful thing about the mouse and keyboard controls and controller support is that you can't switch on the fly. You can't just unplug your controller and plug it back in. You have to exit out of the whole game, not just the main menu.
That's a bummer. I guess. But it sounds like you're just playing with a controller the whole time anyway.
I am
so
now, yeah. I also, and this is a weird one, I felt like my performance took a huge hit when I switched to mouse and keyboards. That's weird.
It's a little weird in combat. It takes some getting used to.
I was
the
just
quirks.
walking around. I didn't even get the combat.
And also pressing the search button. Can we talk about the search button? Why is there a search button?
I was
Yes,
just
I have a
gonna
note
say,
about the search button.
There's
Why?
a search button.
No. I don't need to look at it. I know my notes.
Okay.
So the search button on the keyboard is V. So you're holding down W to move forward, and you have to like press V
All the time. V, V, V,
Yeah.
V, V.
I like for those of you that aren't watching the YouTube video, Rowan his hand just naturally goes into a middle finger straight up position when he does that. So whoever designed the keyboard controls may have had that in mind. They're like, oh, search button, I see. This is going to be a little slight to the player.
So I've started using my ring finger as W in order to reach V without actually hurting my hand. But then I just switch search to F, and that's a lot better.
I hated the on a controller. It's the left stick. You click in the left stick.
Yeah, you click L3 button as it's called.
I like it now. I hated it at first because I thought, why are they making me press this all the time? Why can't it's basically hitting right, but it's basically hitting Alt or whatever it was on most RPGs, right? Like the thing that highlights all the.
Yeah, except that
That's usually a toggle.
Well, what I find very frustrating is that you'll hit it and you'll get the chime that lets you know that there's something there, but then you can't see it because a lot of parts of the environment
Are blocking
it. But even though it sort of illuminates this golden halo around the object that you're finding by using the search button, that doesn't stand out very much.
So
you think it doesn't sound out now. Wait till you get to the desert levels.
Awesome!
Oh, right.
Can't wait.
So
Yeah, I can imagine.
I really like it now. Actually, I think it's a solution for controller support for being able to toggle and highlight stuff. It doesn't make any sense with a mouse and keyboard at all. But also, I like running into a room and clicking it and going, okay, I'm cool here. I can run out. I don't have to worry about this room. There's nothing in this room. I like having that validation.
Well, I think what I would
nothing in
like
the room.
better, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you hit the search button and a piece of loot or an elf root or whatever is
Or
highlighted,
a door or a ladder.
is highlighted.
Ladders.
Does it also
Ladders in
does it
Skyrim.
also project the name the way that it would in Dragon Age Origins when you would press the highlight button? Because I
no, I
feel
don't
like the
think so.
name only shows up if you get close to the item.
Yeah.
If you hover the mouse over it, it does. So I guess there is one single advantage to using the mouse over anything else in the game.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be it because it would be much I don't know, it would be much more apparent if there was that little name that pops up, because in Dragon Age Origins I don't even remember if it would highlight the item, but the name would pop up when you press the Alt button or whatever.
Right, but it would
was.
stay also as a toggle, so you could just toggle that and you just always see stuff.
It's also more important that the name pop up on this because, like, at a certain point, you're going to have enough iron.
Right.
You don't-
You don't need to keep mining for iron.
But if there's a bloodstone or a viridium or something that's
or
better
a
than
black
iron.
lotus.
It's a good segue into the crafting. For me, is super fun so far and useful.
It's the crafting on its own is good, but the crafting when combined with the crappy inventory system, when combined with shop selling items, and when combined with getting items anyway, like it's just like an entire mess of like I have to do this whole like 45-minute process.
My
of
pow
figuring
bow
out-
is better than anything I've seen in the shop so far.
This is true, but that doesn't mean that every character's items are better than things. And
No, the inventory is a pain in the ass.
yeah, so like my process is like when I find a store that has new stuff, I go through my inventory, make sure my characters have their best equipment, then go check the store to see if that stuff is better, and then I like go and see if I can craft anything better, and if that's even worth it because I have to do the runes and all that.
Oh yeah, you
But-
have to. So when you're done Skyrimming, you have to go back to Haven, and I'm at Haven. Is Skyhold and Haven the same thing?
No.
That's a different thing later. Okay.
You're almost there.
Okay, so I go back to Haven, and you have to spend a half hour doing
Yeah.
everything you just said. I have to go. Yeah. So my process is very similar. I go to the where you sell shit, and I stand in front of that place and equip all my guys with whatever new stuff that looks awesome.
Yep.
And then no. I do that at the place where you do crafting because I have to unequip their old stuff and take away any like hilts and
Oh,
and
do
all.
you, do you get that stuff back?
You
yeah,
get
the hilts, the physical ones you do, the runes you don't.
The runes you don't. The runes are use them and then you
You're a
lose
ways
them.
away from runes.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the runes yet.
I've found items with runes, but I haven't found any runes
Yeah.
by themselves.
Yeah.
But so then I do that, and then I go back to where you sell stuff and sell everything, and then I go back to the crafting and do crafting. But
And then you hit up the war room to send out your agents or
can't
whatever.
go.
No,
Actually,
you-
before you do any of that,
You go to the war room.
wait.
And you send them out for the half-hour things. Then you do the inventory, and then you send them out for the...
Before you do that, you have to go to the room on the left and turn in all your valuables and see if there's any monster shit.
Oh,
Because
yes.
the monster stuff is included in your in your junk. So if you sell all junk, you sell your monster shit.
Crap, well, I've been selling all my junk, which
course.
is labeled
Of
valuable.
course
So,
you are.
so you're not supposed
What
to?
reasonable human being would think that it would work the way it works? Of course you're selling all
Oh,
your stuff.
God, I thought they had that figured out. This is the third goddamn Dragon Age game. You'd
Now,
think they would have figured
Why
that
is
out.
the inventory getting worse each time?
Now that you know that, and now that you know my process...
Can you buy back?
No, wait.
I don't
You
remember
can buy
seeing-
back immediately, but if you leave the area, I think you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
that's
a,
true.
What a bunch of bullshit.
But having said that, does anybody here know what that monster shit does?
What a bunch
It
of
gives
iron
you-
bullshit.
I just know it's important, and I need to turn it in, but I don't know what it is.
It gives you more codex entries, which is obviously the most important thing. But
more Connect entries?
codex.
You're not playing with... It's better with Connect.
Codex?
Connect solves
That's
this whole inventory
wait,
problem.
is Codex like how you say mana and like Taco Bell?
Taco... What do you say? Oh, Taco Bell.
Yeah, I
Taco Bell.
say Codex.
Oh, mad props to... shout out to Unwinnable Team. I went and saw those dudes.
Oh, okay.
I was
yeah.
out in New York for a couple days. And
Do you care?
I was driving to Pittsburgh, and I
Josh,
just saw... They were tweeting about a geek flea market or nerd flea market.
Yeah.
walking simulator.
That was right off the freeway. So I was like, "Hey, Dad, let's go visit some of my friends." And
The Geek Flea.
I brought my dad to the geek flea
Yeah.
market, and
Is
saw
your dad
those
a
dudes.
geek?
No,
My dad's a geek.
really, that's
Yeah.
so cool. No, mine's not.
Rad.
All right, the dad podcast is over.
Yeah. The dad
Well, you
cast.
reminded me about Chuck because he says Taco Bell
Yeah, because he's normal.
with your pop.
Let's go.
Chuck wants to hear about Dragon Age, so
Well, that was Dragon Age.
let's
yeah.
appease him.
So I've been playing the RPG that everyone is talking about. I got Persona Q.
Okay, we'll get to it. Let's we'll get to it. Got some notes here.
So we should say one good thing about the Dragon Age interface, and there is one good thing.
I
about
have
it.
I have a couple
some
good
good
things.
things.
I have some good things. We can move on to positives.
The best thing about the Dragon Age Inquisition interface is when you go to the map, it shows you the direction you've traveled around the map.
It
That
does.
is killer.
That is
so
killer.
you're like wandering around a cave. You're like, I know something is in here. Where haven't I looked? You go to the map. You can see where you were.
It's
Yeah.
like the little family circus trail from the
Yep.
cartoon.
Yeah, it is.
tells you where you've been on your little adventures.
That's absolutely right. It also one thing that maybe this is just carried over from Dragon Age 2, but the way that you map the hotkeys to the gamepad, the controller, are there more? Like, can you map more hotkeys now, or could you always?
There's the left trigger thing.
There's the left trigger thing which you hold down to do like a second layer.
That's how it was in Dragon Age 1 Origins
Yeah, I guess it was
on Xbox.
I guess
think.
I guess that hasn't changed. The last few rounds of Dragon Age, the last few Dragon's Age that I played have been, I think, mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, of course.
through
Me too.
Origins. So it's not as familiar to me.
Yeah, that's cool. Except, this is why I went into mouse and keyboard actually, because you can't unmap something. So I had two powers mapped to A and B.
Oh yeah, but who cares?
I can't. It was driving me crazy to see.
But you could just map something else to.
I didn't have anything else to map. I only
well,
had
who
two
ca-
things.
Well,
Who
go
cares?
gain some damn levels.
Yeah.
No, it was bothering me so much. So I switched to mouse and keyboard on the chance that I could go to the hotbar and then drag it out of the hotbar, which you cannot do.
You know, while the inventory, sorry, to go back to the menu, while the inventory management is still kind of horseshit, the way that you can compare items now
it's pretty good.
is better.
Yeah.
Definitely better.
Like, the inventory makes me miss Divinity. How bad is that?
Yeah.
The inventory's all right. It's just you can't really sort things, and they also, I think, show you items that don't need to be shown. Like they show you stuff you can't equip sometimes, which is weird.
Yeah, there's no way to hide that, and there's no way to just only look at your warriors or only look at your rogues. And when you get all of them, they're not in order.
No, I know.
So you have I'm playing a warrior. So to the left on the inventory screen, to the left of my warrior is Iron Bull. That's good. He's another warrior. To the right is Cassandra. That's good. She's another warrior. Then 5 down to the right is Blackwall. Instead of having him next to the others, where
I have that with the rogues right now.
Yeah, the rogues they're all divided. The mages are, I think, bunched the closest. The three of them.
Inventory's a pain in the ass. You
but-
just have to stop at the end of every.
Once your inventory fills up, you go and. When we were talking about the monster things, when you get the Inquisition perks, some of those give you bonuses to damage and experience when you fight monsters that you've researched.
Let's talk a little bit about the Inquisition perks and stuff, because that whole war room map and all of that is new to Dragon Age 3.
Yeah.
That stuff is all new, and it's like a sort of a new little micromanagement, kind of the way Assassin's Creed tried to tack on that thing in, what was it, did it start in Brotherhood, where you would manage and send out your assassins to do missions in other places, and they would go do them, and it would take a certain amount of time.
I've heard tell about it,
time.
but I never myself.
So then your assassins would come back, and they would have, they killed some dude in some far off land and came back with some gold or whatever, and it would slowly build up your resources.
Yeah, but it's also fueled by what you do out when you're just Skyrimming around. So I think it gives you a pretty good feedback loop of just to do boring fetch quests, feeds into that Inquisition stuff.
Yeah.
But the way that it works is there are 2 maps, one for Ferelden and one for Orlais,
Which is pointless.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can send. I like that there seems to be a distinct difference between the advantages and disadvantages of who you send to do those missions.
I thought there was not. I thought it didn't matter who you sent.
No, the time is different, and the results are sometimes different.
Yeah.
Wait. I thought Kirk Hamilton said that it didn't matter. Kirk Hamilton told me it didn't matter.
It might. Well, at least the letters you get back at the end will say, depending on who did what, what's going on there.
Yeah, it depends what you mean by matters.
Oh, okay.
So,
the flavor text is different.
Yeah.
It's a different flavor, but it's the same.
I mean, I don't just choose willy nilly. I choose based on if it seems some people seem like they don't want to go more. So I don't choose.
You might get a chocolate frosted donut, or you might get a maple frosted donut, but it's still going to be a donut.
The rewards are different depending on who you send.
Not the reward. Well, I don't know if the rewards are. The rewards are pretty light, regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
The context, the flavor of the narrative
Okay.
that they
Yeah,
send
yeah.
back.
And I think
doesn't matter.
If there's a chain, the next one does matter.
Okay.
It can. I don't know. I've had some that are there's this group of dwarves were talking about allying with me, and they said, you have to do this thing in exactly this way and send exactly this number of men. And I only had Cullen free, so I sent Cullen, and Cullen's thing was, well, that's obviously not enough men. We're going to double that, and we're going to go do this. And then I got a letter back from the dwarves being like, no, that was not good enough. We'll be back in touch with you when you can get this right.
Okay.
And I don't know if Leliana and Josephine would have done that too, but
to explain to the listeners who may not have checked this out yet, there's Josephine, who is a new character, and she's sort of your, I don't know, a political liaison kind of.
She's an ambassador.
Yeah,
That's her title. That's what she does.
What
she ambasses.
Yeah, those are 2 totally different things. And then there's Leliana, who's basically just keeps moving higher and higher up the Chantry hierarchy, but it remains a crazy badass spy the whole time.
But she dresses like Tally now.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah, Leliana is so rad, and
you did the Redcliffe thing, didn't you? So you've seen how badass Leliana is.
Yeah. Then you've also got Cullen, who is this Templar turned to the cause of the Inquisition, and he's sort of in the minority with the Templars, who are majority of them are assholes. He's one of the good Templars, I guess. And there's a fourth person you can send out on missions, or maybe even more than that?
No, just those three.
Okay, well, you send them off on missions, and sometimes
It's basically an iPhone game.
yeah, it is.
You click on it, and then you have a timed like
Yeah.
Sometimes it's real time, so you have like 5 hours or 10 minutes or 1 day before the results.
Yeah,
come back.
and another great Kirk Hamilton tip: right before you're done playing the game, especially if you're going to finish that current session in Haven, send some people out because they'll finish that mission while the machine is powered off, and then when you boot it up the next time,
you get 10 gold.
You got rewards waiting for you.
Yes. So you send them out on these busy quests, which some of them repeat. There's one that just gives you gold over and over. And
Yeah,
over and over.
there are a few where you go and collect resources from regions or gold, but
and then some of them
they're usually enough like semi-story missions that
right. Some
like,
of them are
there's one
story
that's
missions.
like an 8-chain long thing I've done about finding out who is stealing Varric's intellectual property.
This game's
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. So I've been doing those missions too, and there's a guy, someone in Orlais who's using a pen name to write like sequels to books that Varric has written.
Oh, really?
Like as if it was part of the.
done
It's
that
like
one yet.
literally, it's unauthorized fanfic of like Varric's stuff that he's been.
Do you get
selling.
to read it?
No, but the title is Hard in Hightown 3: The Repuncheoning.
Yeah, that's true. The repuncheoning. That is an actual thing. The little details in the. That's why the writing's so good in all the Dragon Age games. Those little details.
And those are quests that you just
the
send
best.
people out on?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Occasionally, Varric will like say something to you about it when you go and talk to him. That's another thing you should do when you're on your inventory thing: is go around and talk to everyone.
Yeah, talk to everyone. Yeah.
and
So then the other
get your extra side quests.
kind of so those are all quests that you just kind of you click on it and wait and you get stuff. But
Click
then
and wait.
There's also ones that open up new territories to actually go to with your party.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
such
story
as
stuff.
and to do that. For instance, I traveled to Orlais for the first time. We should talk about how awesome it is that you can actually like Orlais is a location in the game you get to go to in
That's
this one.
awesome.
I've been wanting to go to Orlais since Dragon Age Origins. I was like, I remember when the Awakening expansion came out. I'm like, oh, do we get to go to Orlais? No, shit. Okay,
Jay just wanted to get Orlaid.
What?
My jokes are too complex for you.
Orlais? Have I been to Orlais?
yeah, Valroyo.
Is that where that city is?
Sorry, Valroyo. Would you like to go to Valroyo?
Kiss my
My time in
croissant.
that city was very brief. I
Kiss
feel like
my croissant.
I just did a story thing and then I was out of there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how little city and quests and so on there are after, Dragon Age 2 was entirely city, and the Dragon Age 1 you could spend like 10 hours in Dinnerham.
Right.
But Orlais is just like 4 shops and 2 quests.
Yeah. Redcliffe is
Yeah,
beautiful.
but Orlais has got I don't know. It might be
Spoiler. I don't think mentioning who the characters are as a spoiler, because they've been advertising that.
Well,
shit for
I
months.
hadn't gotten to the spoilery part yet. I was giving a warning. I guess this is pretty early on. If you're worried about early game spoilers, then maybe check this out afterwards, because I think we can cover some of the story early on in the game. But traveling to Orlais when you're finally trying to meet up with the Templars and talk to them and talk to the Chantry people in Orlais. Like when the Templars roll in the scene, and
Brutal.
he just fucking decks
Brutal.
the priest mother, whoever she is. Like I was like, damn, that's hardcore. I was like, this dude's just beating up old women. What's up with that? What a hard ass.
That was brutal.
Cassandra disapproves.
Cassandra did. But not as much as she should have. She's like, hey, that was kind of rude.
So, in previous Dragon Age discussions, I've talked about how I had auto-leveled up characters and how I didn't want to give characters powers
right,
that conflicted with their narrative.
You thought that they knew what was best for them.
Well,
and
I didn't
you
want
thought wrong.
No, I thought right, it turns out, because I didn't want to conflict with their narrative. So I'm playing with a bow, right? And I got a companion that also has a bow. So I can just make them have dual daggers, right? Except every line out of their mouth is about bows because their character likes bows and their Wikipedia entry is about how they have bows. So that's bullshit. It's better to let them be the characters they were written to be.
Man, tell them to go back to 2012.
Just saying. I was right all along.
Not really.
Yeah. Because if I take a character and make them my own customizable...
Josh is experiencing ludonarrative dissonance.
No. Listen, if I make them all just customizable characters, branching out any willy-nilly way that then
There isn't a
then they're
willy-nilly
not-
way. There are like 2 paths for each class.
no, but then they're not the character. Then why even have written characters at that point? Then I'm making them into my. Then they're all basically the user, like the player character.
Josh and the class-based RPG
You
anxiety.
can't have someone with daggers talking about bows all the time. It doesn't make any sense. It's like I'm like retconning this character if I give him a dagger. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It makes sense. It's
I
just
do.
silly.
It's like telling Macho Man Randy Savage, "Hey, sorry, your new finishing move is the figure 4 leg lock," and he's like, "No way!"
But then he's constantly talking about whatever his finishing move is.
His flying elbow, man,
flying
his
elbow,
bow.
there
He
we
likes
go.
bows too, dropping bows off the top rope.
So I don't know.
Bows suck.
Though I'm having a great time.
You suck.
This is my first Dragon Age playing with a bow, and it's awesome so far.
I usually like bows, and in fact, Dragon Age, one of my Dragon Age Origins games that I played, I think the one that I was trying to play on PC, I was playing as a Robin Hood elf
Oh, really?
that I was trying to roll with a bow.
I always had a hard time rolling with the bow. It wasn't difficult. It was just didn't seem to work very well.
Dragon Age Origins was like the bows were.
Yeah,
I
until
feel like that everybody would just rush you immediately. And
they
then-
would. Well, so the thing. Well, all right. Let me break it down. The thing that you really had to get into with the bows in Dragon Age Origins is you had to invest in any abilities that would like lower your what's that rating where
Threat?
yes, lower your threat rating. So if you're and as a rogue part of the stealth tree, like the stealth skills, those will give you things that like help you turn you invisible for longer, or you can attack while you're invisible. So things that
Yeah,
don't
of course.
include that, but there's also buffs.
But you have to
that will-
complement that with your tank and have your tank go in a direction that's constantly the opposite of that. Basically,
Exactly.
having threat and like
Yeah, you
drawing
have.
people.
Yeah, you have your tank doing like
Aggroing,
taunt,
if you will.
Yeah, aggroing, throwing taunt like left and right. So there's a way to do it for sure.
Rowan, are you excited about the new WoW expansion?
It actually sounds like this one would be one where I would go back into it if I ever could, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, fair enough.
But this seems to be like hitting the part of the game and sort of redoing the one that I had really liked. It's going back to the crazy shattered planet.
Back to the
thing.
Hinterlands.
No, it's the opposite of that. It's going back to Mars.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. Are we still talking about Dragon Age?
So it's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So, can we talk about how you can jump in this game?
Oh yeah, but I mean, that could not be there. I don't think I would notice.
Okay, but I think that jumping is important because it's sort of representative of the fact that this game is really like topographically interesting.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a jumping mechanic in the game complements that. So like the environmental design and that extra mechanical design, like those two complement each other, because rolling around different areas, like I feel like it transitions from like high ground to low ground way more seamlessly and way more like sporadically than the other Dragon Age games. Dragon Age Origins felt like a lot of flat land, just rolling over flat land. Except
Well, I mean, the biggest, definitely everything you just said, but definitely the biggest thing is this has areas larger than any area in any BioWare game since pre-KOTOR.
yeah, but
Usually you're just in these little corridors.
yeah, but it's not just the surface area necessarily. It's the fact that you're going from like a mountain up top. Even some of the buffs that you can get for your characters, like there are some buffs you can get for Varric, for instance, where if he's shooting his crossbow from higher ground at an enemy who's on
Pepper
lower
Pants
ground,
also has
he
these buffs.
gets like
Yes.
a bonus to attack.
Not just Varric. Pepper Pants.
Okay, but that's
No, I'm with you,
You
on the
see my
elevation.
point.
I just don't attribute it to jumping too much. I mean, there's also like I don't know how much
No.
jumping is tied into that specific. Like it's definitely you definitely find yourself going higher and lower in the game. But there's also ladders.
And also, you keep on walking the tightrope. My jokes are too complex for you.
so. But yeah, but you.
It could be. It might be jumping. I don't know.
What do you?
I'm with you. I just don't know because I think that a lot of times I find myself walking and I'll be walking on a path and it will twist and turn and go up high and go down and do all these things. And I'll find myself on a mountain overlooking this valley, but I don't know if I did any jumping to get there. I think I just kind of walked around different paths.
I think he might be taking what I'm saying a little bit literally. I think I mean more. I think I mean more like symbolically and thematically. Like now your character has like a vertical movement, as
right.
well.
And strategically, it plays like you're saying, like it
Yeah.
plays into battle too.
I use the jumps in order to get out of my warrior's charge.
Oh,
There's a
That's awesome. Like a leapfrog move.
yeah.
does
There's
it
a,
cancel out his animation?
yeah. So there's a move called the charging bull where you just like run straight forward. You can kind of guide it a little, and you ram into other bad guys and knock them over. And then what you want to do is when they're knocked over, you want to hit them with the mighty blow because that does like double damage to enemies that are on the ground.
Yeah.
But how do you cancel out of it? You jump. So you go bam, 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 boing.
Cool.
And then you turn and smash them.
I use jump to glitch up mountains, like in Oblivion and
Yeah,
Skyrim.
but there's something about the glitching up these mountains that feels. It's like next gen glitching up mountains,
It's
for lack of a better term.
Most of the
Next
time,
gen
I don't
glitching.
think it's glitching. Like,
Oh, really?
That's true. It's not
it-
glitching.
It seems to be contained, and when you do the shard quests,
Yeah.
you notice that you're actually doing the things that the game is wanting you to do.
Well, yeah, but there's platform puzzles in this game. Not puzzles. Well, there are only puzzles in that jumping sucks, but like there's platforming in this game.
yeah,
Yes.
when you're trying to get some of the
It's-
things that are hidden,
Right.
you have to like climb
But
up.
those seem like they usually have little steps for you to jump.
Some of them
onto.
do. Some of them are a little weirder, especially as you get into further, more difficult
Yeah.
regions.
Speaking of difficulty, you know those constellation things? Those little puzzles where the lines can't touch each
Yeah.
other? Some of those are easy and some of those are
Puzzles where the lines can't touch.
insane.
I don't know if
You
I
might not have seen one yet.
You haven't gotten an Asterium? There's one right like at the beginning of the Hinterlands.
You basically you press A and it goes up to a constellation and it's a little puzzle where you have to connect dots to match a picture.
No, where do I go to do that?
They're all over the place.
They're on the map.
Yeah.
Like they're little round things with stars on them.
There'll be like 3 in an area or 4 in
Okay.
an area.
All right, I'll keep an eye out.
But some of those are really, really, really hard.
It depends on like which regions you go to. I think there's like a preferred regional path that goes from like easy in the Hinterlands to medium and somewhere, and then like on the Storm Coast they're super hard.
Did you go to the Storm Coast and you go
Yeah.
up to the top?
I've done the Storm Coast one.
That's the one.
I
Yeah.
got it in my quest log,
That's
but
specifically
I haven't.
the one I'm talking about. Is the one that which is, as Jay, you were saying, like it's really interesting to explore this territory. Like in the Storm Coast, you're walking on the coast and you just see this little kind of hut like on the top of this giant mountain.
Oh,
like,
that's I love
like
that.
over the ocean, and you kind of have to like find your way to the top of it.
So we should go over my advice at this point.
Okay.
So if you're playing Dragon Age Inquisition, get out of the Hinterlands as soon as you can. You need to meet Mother Giselle, and you need to get 4 power to go to Val Royeaux.
Yeah, I did that. I listened to. I followed that today, this morning. I was like, I was like, man, there's a whole lot of shit to fuck around doing in the Hinterlands.
I've read people on YouGov talking about, God, I'm 20 hours in. I'm still in the Hinterlands. This game is amazing. It's huge.
I mean, like, if they're enjoying it, that's
Yeah.
fine. But when you leave the Hinterlands, you will get more characters. Like, as soon as you go to Val Royeaux, you start getting side quests to get the 4 optional characters.
Oh, so do I get them in Val Royeaux, or do I have to leave Val Royeaux?
2 of them, you get the quests to start getting them in Val Royeaux, although you'll eventually leave.
Okay, I should have started.
start-
I already left, so I should go back and get those
They
quests.
start coming pretty hot and heavy after.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can clean out your Val Royeaux quests. There's only like 3 of them.
Oh, so I'll just go back and do that then.
Yes.
But can you imagine like clearing out the Hinterlands
Well, you
before
can't-
moving forward? Oh, you can't do some stuff, but
Yeah, you can't go to Redcliffe until you.
yeah. You
No,
don't
we.
let you
I
in.
mean, we get that you can't necessarily 100% it. That some side quests are probably gated depending on progress or level or whatever.
yeah.
that's what I would
But-
probably have done if Rowan had. Not
I know that's Josh. We're very similar in the way that we want to get as strong as possible before we do the next thing.
Whereas Rowan downloads mods to make the game harder.
Right, right.
Yes.
Are you playing on what?
I'm playing on default, whatever. So it's normal. Yeah. I think.
I'm on hard.
I'm on hard.
Okay. I should switch.
Well, I just figured I've played, Dragon Age Origins and
It's too easy on normal.
I've-
I don't think I've even died once.
well,
so.
I've played Origins and Dragon Age 2 and like all the Mass Effect games on like hardcore and
Yeah.
even some of them on insanity. So I figure I could handle hard. So far, I've been getting my ass kicked though. It's real easy to get your ass kicked early on if you go to an area where you're under leveled. Like you will just get your ass handed to
and
you.
you have to be cast in barrier and all this stuff. Like there's stuff you got to do in lieu of that. There's no healers in this game.
Yeah.
Let's finish my advice and then switch to the healing because that's really important.
So Valroyo.
So you go to Valroyo, you get the 4 side quests, and you get the first, and I think maybe even the second region, although you're under leveled for the second extra region after the Hinterlands, which is the Fallow Mire. But you get to go to the Sword Coast, and the Sword Coast is just ridiculously more interesting. It's
Yeah.
raining.
Yeah.
The waves are
Beautiful.
pounding. There's
Yeah, it's so
dragons.
cool. Yeah.
You know, I saw that and I'm like, this Sword Coast, I'm like, did they just pull this straight out of the Risen series? Because that's totally a Risen thing. But
It's really pretty.
Yeah. So, and then when you go back to the Hinterlands, it makes more sense because you kind of can see like, okay, this is what's normal and this is what's interesting about this particular region. And the Hinterlands, what's interesting is that it's huge. Like every character has side quests there. Every kind of side quest is there. But it's also it's like the default fantasy thing. And then the Sword Coast is like by the ocean, and then you get the desert and the forest and all those sorts of regions.
The lava and the snow.
I haven't gotten lava or snow. There's a swamp. But we should take a break and then talk about healing.
Do you have any more advice?
That's the main thing is go to Valroyo, get
basically
the
don't.
extra regions. Yeah, don't get bogged down Skyrimming in the Hinterlands.
Yeah, don't get Skyrimming in the Hinterlands. There you go. That's their title. That's the title right there.
So when you go to Valroyo, you'll start getting more characters. You'll start getting quests to unlock the parts of the Hinterlands you can see. You start getting more regions, so you can sort of bounce around and do things at your own pace. And then the last 2 characters come from the plot missions after that. So you make a decision about who you're going to support in a certain thing.
That's where I just did.
Yeah. And then after that, you go back to Haven, and there's a big Haven quest. And that's when you should have all of your characters.
Okay. I don't know if I do or not. But there's optional characters, right?
Right, there are four side characters.
But they're optional in that it always says, "Do you want them or not?" Not that you can't miss them, right?
No, they're side quests.
Oh, okay.
So, but they'll say like who is there, like, and if you've paid any attention to the marketing about the characters, you'll know their names. So when it says you can recruit Iron Bull if you go to the Sword Coast, that's one of your characters that you get into your party.
I just went back to Haven from Valroyo, and I haven't recruited any new party members.
Yeah,
oh,
they don't,
really?
They don't come immediately in Valroyo. You have to go somewhere else.
Mine
after.
did. Sarah did.
No, Sarah, you have to get quests and you have to go somewhere else.
Oh, but it's there. She's like, go find all these red handkerchiefs and stuff.
Yeah, you go find the handkerchiefs and then you go somewhere else.
Oh, yes, that's
Wait,
true.
is that the Friends of Red Jenny?
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I hope they bring back the Red Jenny Seekers. I rocked those
Jenny.
as a rogue in Dragon Age Origins for like half the game. Jenny.
That's all I could think about when you texted me that earlier about the red jennies.
Yes,
Jenny.
do your Red Jenny quest as
Jenny.
soon as possible.
Do your Red Jenny quest, Jenny.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about stuff. Welcome back.
You missed some singing.
I just realized I use jumping mostly...
I feel it coming back again like a rolling thunder chasing the wind. Sorry.
We had some lightning recently.
I can feel it.
It rained more here in the last week than it did like the entire year before, I think.
Good for it.
Yeah, that was awesome. Lightning did crash. It was great.
We needed it.
We needed it badly.
Lightning returned.
I love it.
Lightning returned.
Because I don't have to water my plants.
Yeah, it's easier.
And it means that, the entire state doesn't have to water its plants and drain the reserves of water where we'll die in food riots.
Yeah. Take that.
Who's against rain? No one's against rain. People like rain.
So we were going to
So-
talk about, I don't know, some healing, something.
Oh, I was going to say actually that I use jumping mostly for trying to jump on top of a box when I'm in a fight. So I don't know if that actually counts towards the elevation bonus. I mean, if it's literally just above it at all, then it should count, right?
I use jumping the way that I
God
used to
intended.
use rolling in Ocarina of Time.
I would like a roll. in
Yeah,
this game,
roll
actually.
would be cool.
There's a skill that's a roll. It's somewhere in the warrior trees, I think.
The rogue has a good dagger rogue. Sorry, Josh, you're
I have 2 archers actually.
yeah,
in my
your
party.
archer.
in the party I roll with.
Dual wield archers. That's the ultimate.
That's what I'm
rogue,
doing,
right?
So I'm using Sarah, myself, and then mixing and matching with the mages. and
I
the
wish
warriors.
that would be awesome if there was some crazy archer that could somehow shoot bows with just one arm and had dual bows. Just
Well, in
Dual
Diablo
crossbows,
3,
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
get the dual
Crossbows.
mini crossbows.
Van Helsing all up in your shit, man. That'd be great.
I really like this game.
Okay,
play it.
what I would like to do is ignore any of the health stuff and all that we were going to talk about because we talked about the mechanics a lot.
For those of you listening at home, Jay's just got excited about going home and playing more Dragon Age.
That's true. It's like
We should address the health thing because it's weird.
okay, it is weird that mages have no healing. There are no healing spells.
No. And also, you have a set amount of potions shared between the group, and you
Yeah.
don't find more. You have to go home. And
You like
refill
replenish them, but you can upgrade that.
Oh, what, through the Inquisition perks things?
You go
from
visit
the
the
healing-
alchemist guy, and
Oh, really?
you can, if you turn in so many elf roots along with whatever.
That's where you upgrade the potions?
Yeah, your potions will get. I think there's the potency gets upgraded as well as the amount you can carry.
The amount you can carry is an Inquisition perk.
That's
comes
what I
later.
just
That's
said.
yeah. So the amount is an Inquisition perk. The the amount that it heals per health potion, you can upgrade that with the alchemist guy. Where it's so dumb that you have to go to either him or a camp or something in order to tell it which potions are equipped. Like you can't do that on the fly. You have to go to camp and say I've
never even messed with
I
any
haven't
of that
learned
stuff.
more than 2 potions as it is already.
Right, I just
but
have them.
I think
I
that's
have
totally
health
weird.
potions, some potion on the left which I've never used, and then there's a lock on the right, so I've not unlocked whatever that is.
Yeah.
Rowan,
The one
do
on
you
the-
use potions besides health potions?
Well, I used a regeneration potion.
Yeah, the regeneration
Those
potion
regenerate health?
is the other one, but mine's been empty the whole time, and even when I rest at a camp, it doesn't
Yeah,
refill.
No,
have
you
to
have to
go in
refill
and
it with
click on it.
elf root and stuff or whatever. You have to use resources to refill that one.
Everything uses elf root in this game.
Right, but your main potions refill no matter what automatically. You
Right.
don't need anything for that. It's also weird that you have to. There's a perk, an Inquisition perk for upgrading your unlock ability, your lock picking.
Yeah.
That's weird.
There is some... That's not that weird. There are lots of games where there are easy locks and hard locks.
Yeah, I was.
No, I know, but
wondering-
it's weird that it's not tied to the character progression of the rogue.
yeah, that I agree with that.
Maybe they're like stainless steel lockpicks.
The whole leveling system is. I don't think it's bad. I think it's weird. The whole
Yes.
leveling system is weird.
Well-
I'm loving this game. It's just they're doing things a little bit differently than.
By far, the weirdest part, in my opinion, is that when you level up, you get ability points, and that's it. You do not get points to upgrade your attributes.
Oh yeah, you don't.
The way that you upgrade your attributes, your strength, dexterity, defense, whatever, is by unlocking abilities, and those abilities come with attribute upgrades attached to them. So if you unlock, this rogue ability I unlocked where if you press it, he'll do, it's sort of like that rogue ability from Dragon Age Origins where you would do appear from across the screen and do kind of an automatic backstab.
yeah, what's that called? Do you know?
I don't remember. It's like
It's not
Shadow
called-
Strike
yeah, it's
or
not called backstab.
No, it's something like that. Let's just assume it's Shadow Strike, which might be completely wrong. But if you unlock that ability, that might come with a +2 dexterity upgrade or a +3 cunning upgrade.
Which means what?
Which means it adds 3 attribute points.
I know that,
into
but which means what though? Like, what does 3 dexterity mean? Your attack power goes up. Is that
if you're a rogue, it means your attack power goes up.
Then why have strength instead? Like, it's a weird system. Like, why?
Well, the rogues don't need strength, so
But they have strength.
they have it. But like
why
skills that you build won't
I know.
add strength.
I know. So why
there's
have
no
it?
real point?
Exactly, but why even have it? Why not?
Because
have
it's a uniform system.
Then
that
why not
it's
just have rogue power and fighter power and mage power? I mean, if it's so meaningless, you know.
Well, I don't know, because it's everybody's on the same. So everybody's on the same page.
I think it's just so it has the familiarity, so we're not like, fuck, this is too weird.
I mean, they've already taken a bunch of shortcuts. At first, I had to get used to the little legend at the bottom of the character profile with the symbols and be like, oh, right, this is attack, this is defense, this is like my armor. Yeah. And I at first, I was like, what does all this stuff mean?
I still don't know what some of those are. I just...
The 3 on the left are...
Health is the first one.
Are health, attack, and armor, right?
And then
maybe possibly not in that order, but it's health, attack, armor, and then on the other side,
range defense.
It's range defense.
This is weird.
What are we talking about?
This is like when you're equipping weapons and stuff, and it shows you what goes up and what goes down.
On the bottom, there's a gauge
symbols,
on the
bottom.
bottom.
There's no text to say what they are.
Right, I'm with you now. The little bars.
Yeah.
So the ones on the right are the weird ones, though.
Which is magic resistance or magic defense.
I think so.
Range defense, and then the third one is
probably physical defense.
Ebola defense.
Yeah, Ebola defense.
Physical resistance. Isn't that defense? Isn't that just defense?
Or melee defense.
Oh, I think it is melee defense. Actually,
yeah.
I think I've seen that specifically.
It's like a mace, or I'm just making that up too. I don't. I need to play it more, so weird. I become more of an expert on this.
It's cool though because it gets rid of the Skyrim issue, which is in Skyrim doing stuff doesn't reward you with anything other than narrative.
You still get like regular experience points by doing things.
Yeah, and they all feed into these different systems.
You know, it's weird from I mean, not to get too like esoteric or abstract or whatever, but
it's about the jumping.
No, it's not about the jumping, but there's something about
the jumping mean,
but there's something about roaming around Skyrim that feels very unfulfilling.
Yeah,
after the fact, like I guess while you're going through Skyrim, moment to moment does usually feel like fairly satisfying. That's why it's like kind of such a cool game, is that there's always stimulus, right? There's always stimuli coming at you, something happening. You can hunt this thing, fight these guys, do this quest, whatever.
You have to be in the moment because there is no real progression.
But that's the point, is that you can go so far and do so much sort of superfluous bullshit in Skyrim that you can do that for maybe 20 hours straight of gameplay time. And then after it's done, you're like, what did I just do with my life
even really
for 20 hours? Yeah. Dragon Age, obviously, we're very early on, but I do not get the sense that the game lets you get that far off the trail. You know what I mean? Like,
I think so. I think there's like I was just saying, like everything feeds into progression.
Yes.
Like Borderlands, everything feeds in. Everything I'm doing is feeding into some progression.
There are a few bullshit things that you can get caught up on. You can get caught up on like collecting too many herbs and
fetch quests,
or herbs, as every character in the game says.
Oh, they do that.
Herbs.
My new thing with the herbs is if it's in front of me, I'll grab it. Otherwise, I just don't care because you're gonna. They're everywhere.
You want to grab as much elf fruit as you can for a while.
Yeah, in fact, I would recommend that before you leave Haven the first time, there are enough elf roots to collect where you can upgrade your health potion, like before you leave Haven the first time. I would recommend doing that.
I definitely, I think I did what Jay, you I assume did, is I did not leave Haven until there was nothing left on that
I don't know if there's nothing left, but I did a lot. I mean, I tried to talk to every single person I could, visit every shop.
I just mean in the quest list.
Yeah.
Kaiser.
But there's another thing. Like when you go into a new region, you'll have a requisitions officer who says, like, go and collect these things and go to the requisitions table and do
what's up
those.
with that?
Those are like simple little quests that for the most part just give you like a little more power. Power with a capital P. The thing that you use to get more quests later.
Mm-hmm.
But those loop, like, so when you...
Oh, they do?
Yeah. So you can get stuck just doing those constantly, and they're very boring.
The requisitions officer, I don't know what it is about interacting with that character. Is it the same character in every city, or is there a different requisitions officer? Or does she follow every
I
encampment?
think they use the same, like, voice actress, but...
Well, there's something about that interaction every time which makes me feel like I'm playing The Witcher. There's a lot in this game that makes me feel like I'm playing a more witchery version of Dragon Age.
Aren't you glad The Witcher didn't come out in November also?
Yeah, oh my God, yes. That'd be ridiculous. But February or March or whenever it's going to come out
You might be halfway done with Dragon Age by then.
Yeah, might be halfway done. That feels about right.
Rowan, are you done with Dragon Age?
No.
Oh, okay.
But speaking about
like, you guys are, like, you haven't even, like, gotten to the main part of the game.
Right. That's the best. I love
All
hearing
right, everybody,
that.
it's a good show. Bye.
Yeah.
It's like, you know those Simpsons episodes where they start out with, like,
I haven't even
here's
put my
this
name in
crazy
yet.
shit that's happening in the first thing,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
when they hit the commercial break, they're like, okay, here's the real story.
Yeah.
You guys are, like, in that first zone.
Gotcha.
Except it's not crazy shit. It's kind of boring shit.
Sure. It's
Like, the whole there's a giant breach in the sky thing is like, oh, hey, why did I start playing Oblivion?
Yeah, right, exactly.
At least you don't go.
Are
in
you
them.
the hero of
Yeah.
Kvatch?
Yes. Yes, I am.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that.
But we
Are
should
you
talk
the
about-
herald of the hint?
We should talk about the healing potions, regardless of what Jay says.
We already did.
No, we didn't. You said what they are. You didn't say what that means.
What does it mean?
Yeah, Josh did. He went over it and said that you only have so many.
Yes,
so
that's what they are, not what they mean. What they mean is that changes the entire dynamic of combat.
yes, it means that you basically have to do like the way that you explore new areas is you make a little more headway fighting people, and then you have to retreat, go
It's
back
like
to
Far Cry
camp,
2.
fill up your health, then you can go branch out a little more,
But-
maybe unlock another camp. But it's a slow opening up, like a blossoming of the area where you are controlling the region.
I mean, that's partially it, but just in terms of how that makes combat work. So, like, in Dragon Age Origins, you had, like, an infinite number of healing potions that you could use at any time, except if you started to run out of them, like, in the middle of the dungeon, you're screwed. Like, you have to rely on healing spells, which weren't entirely good. So you could have, like, 50 healing potions going into the deep roads, end up with 0, and there's no good way to get out of that. So, and this is a fairly common thing that most RPGs had. Like, there's a general sort of you plan ahead, you get as many items as you can to hold on to those, and you do a dungeon and hope that you have enough to complete the dungeon, and if not, you're totally screwed. And this felt really old-fashioned Dragon Age Origins. You ran into this, right? In one of your dungeons.
Oh yeah.
And then Dragon Age 2...
You're basically going to get your ass handed to you,
Yeah.
and you're kind of stuck at that point. Because
Yeah.
Unless you have to walk your ass back somewhere to buy
And
potions
sometimes
or
you can't
reload.
even do that.
Sometimes
Like, if
you
you're
can't even do that.
exiled or whatever.
Oh no, it wasn't me. One of us did get stuck somewhere in the deep roads, maybe.
The deep roads, I think, or
I feel like it was Jay. I'm
Probably.
not sure. Yeah.
in one of the 6 times he's played it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So then Dragon Age 2 fixed that by making there be really long cooldowns on healing spells and healing potions. So, like, you could only use, like, maybe 1 or 2 healing potions per combat because the cooldowns were so long on that, which is very similar to how massively multiplayer role-playing games work. Not the healing part, but the potion part. You can do, like, in World of Warcraft, you can use a potion once every 5 minutes.
I just would like to point out here that in KOTOR, you know how when you finish combat, you'll heal naturally. And in many games, like, you finish combat, and in Dragon Age, okay, everybody heals up automatically. In KOTOR, it took like half an hour or something, or 20 minutes. So you had to, like,
Well, that's part of this.
yeah, but in this game you don't.
no. But
At all.
I just remember like putting like walking away from my computer and going, well, I gotta wait to heal.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, in most games, there wasn't that. You had to figure out some way to heal. Like in the old gold box games, you would go to camp and you press fix.
Games used to be harder.
It's not necessarily harder. It's less convenient. But the general trend in role-playing games...
Games used to be less convenient.
Yes.
It's not less convenient. It's harder. Sorry.
It's like the Dark Souls of video games. Dragon Age 2 was part of a general trend, and Final Fantasy kind of did this, and a bunch of other games. Mass Effect did this, where healing was basically something you only did in combat, and you would like automatically heal. So it changed the focus from you're planning the entire game like so that you have enough healing potions and you have the right characters when you're going on the quest into the dungeon, to you have to have enough healing to get through each individual combat. And that's a lot more convenient, but it involves a lot less like meta game.
Which brings us to Dragon Age Inquisition.
Dragon Age Inquisition goes back. It goes back to having a limited number of potions that you use for these fights and these combats. And like, so you have 8 potions at the start, and your characters will stop using them automatically when there's only 2 left, so that you can choose who gets to live and who gets to die.
And we should point out you have limited. I don't know what that system's called. That system where you can sort of program the AI to.
Yeah, the tactic system.
Yeah,
It's a lot more. It's a lot more limited than it was in Dragon Age Origins.
But the AI itself is a lot better.
It's a lot better. Yeah.
Like I didn't even.
They
use...
actually follow their orders like the way you want them to.
You want to know something?
Or if you don't change anything, like they still generally do things well.
If you auto level Sarah, she doesn't put any points in daggers. She puts it all in bows.
Yeah, she's
Well, this is not a surprise.
No, it is. In Dragon Age Origins, they would kind of mix and match their level ups when you.
Well, if I ever make an archer, I'll call him Macho Man and put all my points in his bows.
I'll make an archer. There are 2 archers already, and archers suck.
Yeah.
When you guys,
no, I just meant the AI is better in Dragon Age Origin. If you did auto level up, they would spread their points out evenly across the thing and just totally screw you.
That's not necessarily what I mean by the AI, but your point is well taken, Josh.
Thanks.
But when you get the dagger rogue...
Well, of course that feeds into the AI, though, because that's sort of...
Well, it feeds into the AI eventually, but like when you get the dagger rogue, he automatically makes bad guys explode. He is just ridiculously powerful.
Cool, I want to become that guy.
So, in Dragon Age Inquisition, you have these potions that are limited... so there's sort of a strategic or maybe more of a tactical resource, since you can get them pretty easily again, but it changes things so that like in Dragon Age 2, combat had a very specific pace where it'd be like heal, survive, 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 heal, survive, 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 because there were a hell of a lot of bad guys who would show up. And I know a lot of people didn't like the whole like thing where they'd appear out of nowhere and your tactics would have to change.
Right, yeah.
But in terms of the time, there was a sort of chronological tactic that you had to use, and that's just not there in this. Your guys will just chug potions, and you'll wade in and kill a bunch of people, and like it doesn't really feel like it has a really strong pace to it.
Well, what happens is it feels like you go out and you fight a lot, and the pacing can be pretty pretty intense for a while, but then once you hit that ceiling where you've used all your health potions, you have to stop, retreat, go back to a camp.
I'm talking about individual fights. I'm not talking about like the overall thing. And this goes into kind of the whole structure of the game, which we can talk about a bit later. But in Dragon Age Origins, like each individual fight had a pretty strong feeling to it, because like you would set your dudes up on one side of a bridge, and you'd make your warriors stay there, and all the darkspawn would like come in on the bridge, and you just like nuke them. And then in Dragon Age 2, you got that through the sort of, as I said, the chronological thing where you're like pacing yourself, all your skills. And I kind of even like that better. But in Dragon Age Inquisition, you don't really get either of those things. You just you run in, you smash things for a while, and you're done. And I'm not actually certain that's an improvement. I haven't had like a combat where I feel like, wow, I'm really satisfied with how just this whole thing went. Like the satisfaction comes from the sort of general structure of the game. as opposed to the individual fights
Yes,
themselves.
absolutely. Totally.
Although
Totally.
I did start fighting a dragon yesterday, and that was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, but you have to target individual body parts too, and I can
You
see
don't
it.
have to,
But you can, right?
Yeah, they're there, and it's kind of a way for you to like hit multiple things on like a different charge and so on. But but like when you get these longer sustained fights, you start to get into that. But those are mostly optional.
Yeah. For me, the potion thing mostly boils down to what I think Jay was getting at. That for me, it's I'm running along and I see something cool in the distance, and I go, "Whoa, what is that?" Oh shit! I'm out of potions.
Yep.
God damn it! And then I have to go back and
that's my point. Is that
Although I mean, I agree with you about the combat.
The health
for sure.
potions end up putting a sort of artificial limit on what you can do. Like that.
It's
You
like
know,
your mom
it's
saying
it,
you have to come in from playing.
Yeah,
basically.
it branches like it extends to outside of combat. So when you don't have health potions, you're right. You also have to be wary about just going over to like pick up an elf fruit somewhere, because bad guys could show up and kill you, and then you could be shit out of luck.
Plus, there's just it's like a low cell phone battery. Like I'm just running around and it's kind of a little insecure.
It is.
Yeah, and I don't see what the advantage of this is. Like
I don't know either, but I definitely think like you put it nicely, that the satisfaction of this game is from the overall game. It's not from. It's like in Divinity. A lot of the satisfaction was from those encounters were just so good. Every encounter was so good.
Yeah,
every encounter,
like you throw a barrel and it's at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah,
and you
every
light the barrel
counter
on
was as you
fire.
described, with the bridge and just trying to get people in the right positions. But in this game, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm playing on normal, so I don't know. But like, I haven't found it to be. It just seems like I don't feel dissatisfied with the combat. I enjoy the combat, but I don't feel extremely satisfied either. It's just okay.
It's like it's a thing you do when you're running around the world. It's a vehicle for going to different places.
Though I did just fight my first, I guess, the first thing that felt like a boss, which is the end of the Red Cliff thing. And that one I think that's the first time I did the tactical cam, other than just because it's there to check it out. Like I actually did queue up commands and stuff like that. So that was actually more interesting. And they had different waves too.
I would say, I guess I would say technically the first boss is that ogre that you fight while you're closing the rifts for the first time, and like he's the first big enemy that you have to fight, and you're fighting him while you're trying to close the rift. And that gives you a little taste of what you're talking about. It's just a little taste. Yeah. It's not as hardcore or involved, I guess.
The rifts are whatever.
Yeah, they are whatever.
They're like, try not to get hit while it does whatever it's doing, right?
But that's not actually the most important part. The most important part is killing the things. Like, that helps you kill the things, but if they keep hitting you, then you should just go smash them in the face.
Yeah, you have to. But what I try to do is get out of the way so that I can just close the thing.
But I feel like that is very much a translation of the original Dragon Age style combat, where you would cast a spell but with a mage, but some spells, like, they had a timer before they would cast the spell. So if while you're sitting there conjuring, you see your mage doing this, conjuring the big ice storm or blizzard or whatever it was, firestorm, and then if they got hit or interrupted, it would stop the spell.
Sure,
and
what it feels like,
it's sort of like a different version of that.
But Rowan, if I don't know what it's called, not when you're closing the rift, but the thing you do a bunch of times. Disrupting it, that weakens all the enemies.
It does.
So that you can take them out easier.
It just might not actually be more efficient if you're getting hit than just killing
you're a warrior?
Yeah.
So you're getting hit, like you're drawing all the fire.
Well, I'm usually a damage warrior.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So
then do you have a tank also?
Yeah.
As a rogue, it's very easy to just use stealth and then get in a position where you're not really near anyone, and then by the time you start using it, like you hit the button, your stealth wears off because you've performed an action, but there isn't enough time for people to attack you before you can actually pull off whatever. So it's
I'm kind of amazed that the two bows thing is working out for me right now. Like, I didn't think that was going to work out. I just have one tank.
So now I want to get to the part of the game that I like to geek out about, which is like your individual characters.
Okay.
Making your Harold. What's your Harry?
Pepper,
Your Harry of
Pepperdine lives in
of
Williamsburg.
Andre Street.
He lives in Williamsburg. He lives in Brooklyn.
Pepperdine Shepherd of Andre Street.
He's into artisanal cokes. And,
Yes.
I don't know. He looks
flat.
like ultimate like Portlandia dude. Like he's got like the mustache and the
Yeah.
busy
Oh.
hair. He's like a white man.
He's a lumbersexual.
Yeah, well, I always think, well, the first thing I'm going to do is put a badass helmet on this fool, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, or a hood or something. So, because I like to play with helmets on.
I just made one of the, or I crafted one of the. It's a helmet from Dragon Age Origins, the Warden's helm that has the wings on the side of the helmet. Yeah.
So he's obviously an rogue archer. Though you can respec in this game super easily, so I might switch to the daggers and check that out.
Which is cool that towards the beginning of the game, you there's a shop that gives you a respec for one piece of gold.
I used it
Of course,
by
you did.
accident.
Yeah.
By accident.
That
Because
sucks.
it's in the inventory as
Yeah.
an amulet,
Yeah.
and I equipped it. But you can buy an infinite amount anyway,
Passive
it looks
buffs,
like,
man.
so.
Yeah, you can. They just cost like 300 gold if you buy it again.
And then my primary party right now is Sarah, who's an archer. Is it companion spoilers or no? Okay.
Like they mentioned.
Cassandra, who is amazing. And,
Spoiler.
draws all the heat. And then I'm kind of mixing it up with.
I
the
like
mages
that. I like that Cassandra's personality, which is
great.
she's this total bitch of a Templar chick, and her personality very much exudes the kind of character that would draw everyone's fire.
Yeah,
from the enemy.
it
Like
works.
all the
Yeah,
enemies
yeah.
would want to attack her first. So I like that she plays that role thematically and mechanically as
Yes.
well.
Except Blackwall does more, and he's just kind of.
Well, I haven't
there.
met.
I don't have a black
Yeah, I
wall.
don't have a black wall.
Oh, the Iron Bull does not work as a. I don't know what you call it. The person that draws all the stuff.
Tank.
A tank. I think I said that earlier too.
Yeah, you know what it's called.
But
Hey,
you
you
threw me
can't-
off because you said, "Oh, I have an attacky warrior or a DPS warrior or whatever." Like that's what Iron Bull is, I think, unless I
Yeah.
customized him
Well,
to be.
basically, with each character, you can kind of do two different paths.
Yeah,
So you choose. There are 4 skills that
but there's
they have.
more later. Too.
There is.
Yeah,
Josh, I am later.
okay. I'm letting you know.
Rowan is later.
Rowan is later.
Rowan has 10 days of you.
Rowan,
on you.
Coco host, Feach ass, later Kaiser.
So as a warrior, you can either go the tank route or the DPS route.
Well, you can go either one hand or two hand, and then you can go either tank or.
I like using 2 hands personally.
Two hand, right?
Wait, what are we talking about?
Well, so Cassandra's got a sword and shield, at least her default build.
Right. So my Cassandra, I ended up making her kind of a damage dealing sword and shield character, which fits a little better with her skills that she gets later in the game. When you hit level 10, you get like their personal skills.
Cool.
And Cassandra is a Templar
Spoiler.
who mostly attacks, mages, whereas Blackwall's is a champion, which means he just takes ridiculous amounts of
Wait,
threat
are you
and never
rolling
gets
with
hit.
3 warriors?
I switch.
Okay.
I don't have a set group. Like, if I had a set group, it would probably be Blackwall. I want to do Sarah, but Cole is just ridiculously powerful. And then Solas is right now my best mage, but I think I might respec my
That's
mages.
interesting. I've been switching in this game more than any other previous Dragon Age.
That's everybody's review that I've read, namely Kirk Hamilton's, is about how switching up party members seems to feel much more natural in this game than any other of the Dragon Age games.
Well, it's because inventory. I know what. Here's why. Because inventory is such a pain in the ass that it's easier to go through and equip everybody with inventory, so everybody's constantly up to date on their gear.
Oh, yeah,
So there's no problem when you're on that screen to switch.
And
to somebody
it's
else.
also that the side quests are just they're such bullshit. Like they're just like go collect 5 ram hides or whatever.
And I will.
yeah.
And like
Got 'em.
So in Dragon Age Origins or Dragon Age 2, you like each quest you have this ethical thing and your companions are going to talk to you about all of those things and all this. And in this you just go and grab stuff. So like there is no particular reason that you need to have so and so's personality with you when doing doing your
That's
horse
true, because you
races.
really do make the clear-cut choice. I do when I go out for a session. Am I going to fuck around, or am I going to do a story thing?
Yeah.
And the game makes that, and this is the structural thing I wanted to talk about, which is different from pretty much every BioWare game, is that there is an extremely rigid distinction between story missions and non-story missions.
Yeah.
Like in every Mass Effect and every Dragon Age, they were together.
Mass Effect 2 felt like...
Well, I think that Dragon Age Inquisition separates them in the way that they're in presentation, like a lot. Like presentation-wise, they're completely different. Main story missions, or the ones that actually have to do with the main arc or whatever, those come with full-on cutscenes with dialogue and stuff, and those the other missions don't even really have cutscenes. It's just somebody that kind of spouts off some stuff in passing,
and you don't have the choices, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Like every single goddamn quest in Dragon Age beforehand ended in some sort of ethical: do you murder this dude, or do you give him a kitten?
Or at the bare minimum, no reward necessary, or I would like more.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas this,
hey, cheap ass, I helped you out a lot. You should give me more. Yeah.
You just go and Assassin's Creed it up. You follow the diamonds on the map, and you get some gold, and that's
true.
it.
And it's so beautiful that it's
only
fine,
thing this game is missing is a tower I can climb and then do a synchronization.
Well, that's what those Estro.
No, the things that you saw the post.
Oh, okay. So it has that. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Those and the skulls.
Well,
for the shards.
So wait, we didn't finish Warrior. What's your character's name?
Sorry, before we moved on to Rowan's character, Josh, I just want to ask you a quick question with your bow-wielding, pepperdone, human noble character, which I knew you were, because you always are. I like that you're a human because you're a human.
This is a long con. I'm just going to get you guys to think I'm very predictable. And then
one day he's going to play a woman in a game. He'll walk into the podcast and be like, guys, I rolled a femship.
I don't know why I don't make them look like me ever, so it's not like I'm trying to make me.
Right. Well, I'm curious.
The voice actor's horrible, by the way, for the male human.
I am.
One of them.
I am
two.
almost. Yeah, there's two. I'm almost positive that the voice that I chose for my heroine is the same voice as the Dragon Age 2 heroine. No? She sounds so much like her, though.
She sounds so much like it, but there's someone else that she is from a different BioWare game.
Oh, is she Miranda?
No. She's a specialist motherfucking trainer.
Oh, she's your Yeoman from Mass Effect 3?
Yeah, she's the one with the
toothbrush. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Totally. Oh, man. Good call, Rowan.
That's not a good call. I looked it up. But...
Oh, okay.
BioWare has said, check out Dragon Age Inquisition. It'll be the template for which Mass Effect will be also.
Cool. I'm okay
down
with
that.
that.
Too, yeah. Oh,
we'll see.
Really?
Anyway, Josh, real quick.
Fucking corridors, man. I don't.
Real quick, party dynamics. Considering now that mages can't heal anymore, so really their only advantage now are their area effect attacks and the fact that they have a bunch of different elemental attacks.
You need them to open up shit.
Okay.
And they do more damage.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as positioning, they serve as ranged attackers.
Yes.
So what I'm wondering is
3 range and 1 tank.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. If you're rolling with 2 archers, since mages don't have a role in healing anymore, would it be possible to roll with 2 archers and 2 tanks?
Yeah,
and let your tanks soak up all the damage and let both your archers hang back. And it's I imagine each tank is going to draw its own crowd of enemies, and just let each one of your ranged attackers either double up on one party, then double up on the other, or
Cassandra's doing that, but also Sarah, who is an archer, is like Yoda in Attack of the Clones. She's just up in everybody's business, jumping around, running around.
Even as a ranged attacker?
Yeah, she doesn't kick back with me and the wizard. I don't know.
Bizarre.
And also, you can do that, but you can also do that with 2 wizards and 2 tanks. Or
but Josh is not a wizard, so that's why I'm asking about. And he wants to roll with dual archers, so I'm starting there and wondering if
I don't
if that,
want to roll with dual archers. I just think Sarah's a rad character.
So you do want to roll with dual archers by extension. That's
No, I want to be an archer, and I also want to roll with Sarah, and therefore have to.
right. So it's the same difference.
And I don't even have to. I can spec her out, or I can spec her out too.
Okay, but same difference. You're starting with those two characters, and then you're choosing two other characters after that.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, wondering
it's like
if that would be viable.
I thought it would not work. I thought that we would get mobbed and it would not work, but it is working.
The fastest killing party that I have is my damage doing warrior Cole, who's the dagger rogue, and then 2 wizards, and they just make enemies explode in a few seconds.
Nice.
It's ridiculous.
Tell
how
us
much
about
more
your
powerful they are.
Tell us about your warrior.
She has a mullet.
Nice.
Is she a human?
Yeah, she's a human.
Predictable.
So you guys are both rolling humans.
And she's interested in Josephine and Sarah and Dorian, but Dorian might not be interested in her.
Okay.
But I think she's leaning Josephine right now because Verica's the best nickname for her.
What's that?
Ruffles.
Nice.
All right, Jay, what do we got? We got Femme Zorro, Femme Hamburglar, David Bowie.
Femme Hamburglar. All right. So David Bowie's actually... you should have done David Bowie if you're doing an archer.
I know.
But
My
Also,
jokes are too complex.
You can't
for
respec your face, right? Just your ability.
you can't... You know what? It's disappointing, but you can't respec your
My
face.
character's makeup does not match her tattoo in the way I thought it did, and it's kind of a problem.
Did you turn the lip gloss down?
You have to turn the lip gloss down.
All of Kirk Hamilton's always excellent tips for playing video games.
Yeah, seriously, Kirk Hamilton wrote not only an incredibly fantastic long-ass review of this game, which was so fun to read, but his tips and all that stuff are pretty spot on.
No, does it pass all of his tips are just trying to make games more like Far Cry 2?
It's not entirely, but set every goddamn quest to inactive because that thing takes up the entire screen.
Yeah.
The active quest thing is so fucking annoying. And that's very much a Far Cry 2 thing. Get that stupid interface out of my face.
Well, I don't even know what you're talking about. I haven't noticed anything annoying with any quest marker stuff.
Well, that's
In
because
fact, it's all awesome.
You're probably playing on a 500-inch TV.
No, I'm playing on my desk, my computer desk.
But so you have an active quest that it puts giant things on the map saying go here.
Yeah, that star thing.
Yeah, the star things, and then it takes up the right of the screen. It says here's the place where you're going, and it just stays there. And it takes up.
Not bothered me at all.
Of course, it wouldn't.
I love one thing this game does really well is all the quest and map interaction. It's very like Skyrim. It's very easy to.
I love that you can just hit the little left D-pad button.
We can't.
Oh,
What's a D-pad?
It's a console only thing. If you hit left on the D-pad, it opens up the map. We have to hit.
Yep,
You
it's
have to press M.
Yeah, or
That's
whatever.
really hard to do.
Oh, but I thought you were playing with a controller.
I am. Why aren't you playing with a controller if you hate the mouse and keyboard controller?
Well, the mouse keyboard thing just makes it like a controller. There's no advantage.
But it's okay.
I just started with
Yeah,
that, so I've stuck with it.
Hey, man, you know what? I'm not going to hate you for your freedoms. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, if you want to play it wrong, that's up to you.
It's clearly made. Yeah, they clearly made it for a controller and then shoehorned these awful mouse and keyboard. I've joked about that in the past, but this is a real example of that.
But it is.
I agree with you. I just started with a mouse and keyboard, and while it's not good, it's not better than a controller. It's just where I started, I'm used to it by now.
It is nice just hitting that. Oh, I need to check the map real quick. Boink, boink. In and out. Just like that.
Yeah, but I have to just press two. Okay, I just have to press start and then A. But sure, it's one thing. It is easier.
The amount of times that I look at the map because I'm still learning where the hell I'm going all the time. It's.
I look at the map all the time. I love the map. I love the map.
Map is good.
I love the mini map.
I love little tents for the camps,
right, all right, tell us
little
about your-
diamonds for this. Okay,
Do it.
So
Let's do it.
I started out. I was in the character creator. I think I probably spent a total of about 5 or 6 hours in the character creator before I went off with my normal game.
Jay.
I started out trying to make my first character, just messing around with the character creator, made something I thought was decent, and then I saw what it looked like in actual gameplay, and I was like,
So you got BioWare.
oh, I got BioWared. Yeah. It got bio-weird. It was not pretty. So I'm like, okay, we're going to have to, you got to tone down the cheekbones. You got to, like, a lot of stuff so that your character doesn't look like a fucking alien from another planet. Then the second time around, I tried to make an elven Tilda Swinton, and it was like just not quite good enough. It was close though. I'll show you guys later, but it's not terrible, but it's definitely not great. So the
Femme Hamburglar.
Femme Hamburglar. So the third time around, I'm like, I'm just gonna make whatever elven character like I think will look cool in the game, and she looks badass. Like, she looks like a real Dragon Age character with a specific personality and a specific, like, I feel like she doesn't look like anyone else in the game, and she looks like a normal character that could exist in that world, that doesn't look like some asshole just made some weird looking character in the creator, you know what I mean? So that's my pixie.
Who is she romancing?
Well, I'm early in the game, but I'm trying. She's into romancing Cullen right now, and she's also romancing Leliana. Or trying to.
Cullen's such a pillow queen.
My goal was Sarah, but I think she might be a lesbian.
Awesome! I'll hit her up. I'll tap
I have to
that.
start over.
My elven rogue will definitely hit that.
So I tried non-ranged combat and hated it. Does it take some getting used to? Like, it feels real weird to me.
Regular attacking is not my favorite. Just
holding
holding down
the right
that R.
But you
that
also have to
right
chase them
trigger.
around, right? Like an action game, sort of.
You do, but once you unlock a few powers that will... As a rogue, you want those powers that, like I said, will sort of warp you to... It'll find a target, and then it will just appear near the target and hit them.
Is there like a KOTOR lightsaber jump to the target?
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. So you... As long as you make sure that that's
And you've
sort
got
of...
the bull thing. Sorry.
So the way that I usually engage, like my step one, go stealth so that nobody can see me coming, and then I can get in a good position. Step two, use one of those special abilities that warps your character to the target to hit them. So after you use that ability, you hit them, you're in a good position to just hold down the trigger. You don't have to seek them out and get into position because that special ability has already
Does it feel
put
a
you
little
in a
messy or chaotic? Or I mean, I felt it just felt like kind
No,
of...
it feels a lot messy and chaotic.
It feels
Really?
a lot messy and chaotic because
That's where
there
I like the range.
there's like smoke and
Yeah.
explosions,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
half the time I'm like, oh, there's still a dude there that people are
Yes,
hitting.
that
I
was
didn't
my
even know that was a
experience.
guy there.
But with ranged, I feel like it just feels like I have a little more control. I'm off in the distance. I know who I can see who I'm targeting. It's just
that
yeah,
makes
okay.
sense. That makes sense.
Maybe in the second playthrough.
Well,
Yeah.
you can use the multiplayer to test the things.
Oh, you know what? I realized I could also just switch characters on the fly and test different.
That's true.
That
Although
too.
the higher level you get, the more skills they have, and the weirder it
Wait,
feels.
if you're
Right.
playing on a controller on PC, can you still use the D-pad up or down to cycle through your characters on the? Okay,
Yeah, I think everything's the same except that left.
that's so dumb.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Whatever. The one thing I do wish is that they set the right direct D-pad button to your journal with your missions. I wish there was.
The D-pad should be for menus and
Yeah.
not for switching characters. I think. But
Well, what else would you use to cycle through characters though during combat?
no, I mean when you're in a menu, I would like to be able to use the D-pad to go up, down, left, and right instead of the analog stick.
analog sticks.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess they're keeping it consistent because they need something that will let you switch characters in combat that is also consistent with in
Yeah,
the
no,
menu.
no. I
So
mean, I
it's
get it.
it's sort of like the lesser of two evils, I'm guessing. But Man, let's get out of here. I want to play this game. Don't you? We all want to play the shit out of this right now, don't we?
I need to use the bathroom, so.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Go to joshandjayshow.com.
Let me get my Dragon Age Drinquisition on.
We're on,
Heyo.
we're on Twitter.
Yeah.
At,
Brand new.
at Josh and Jay Show.
We just twatted.
At Joshua Doan, at Jay Pullman, at Rowan Kaiser. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Really?